Have you ever wondered why crime rates are on the rise in Australia? From the sun-soaked beaches to the lush, green outback, it's hard to imagine that this beautiful country is also grappling with escalating crime rates. But the facts are hard to ignore. Motor vehicle theft, for instance, has seen a startling 11% increase, with over 55,000 victims reported in just 1 year. Not far behind, sexual assault cases have also climbed by 3%, amounting to over 32,000 victims. But perhaps the most chilling of all is the surge in homicide and related offenses. The last year recorded 377 victims, a growth of 7 victims from the year prior. What's even more disturbing is that more than a third of these cases were related to family and domestic violence. It is alarming to see such a rise in these crime rates. But what factors are contributing to this increase? Let's delve deeper into the statistics of homicide and related offenses. It's a grim topic, but understanding it is crucial to addressing the issue. In the year 2022, Australia recorded 377 victims of homicide and related offenses. This marked an increase of 7 victims from the previous year. A majority of these victims were males, accounting for almost 70% of the total, or 259 victims. Furthermore, the victims were predominantly adults, with those over 18 years making up 85%, or 320 victims. Now, let's take a moment to consider where these offenses are happening. Nearly 2/3 of these crimes, or 64%, occurred at a residential location. That's 241 victims whose lives were taken in the very places they should have felt safest. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? In over half of these cases, 59% to be precise, a weapon was involved. That's 222 victims who faced a fatal encounter with a weapon. And now for the most unsettling part. More than a third of these crimes, or 36%, were family and domestic violence related. This equates to 135 victims who were harmed by those they should have been able to trust the most. These statistics paint a stark picture of the nature of homicide and related offenses in Australia. We see a disturbing prevalence of violence within homes, a high involvement of weapons, and a significant portion of these crimes linked to family and domestic violence. These disturbing trends in homicides and related offenses raise many questions about the nature of violence in our society. It's a challenge for us all to understand and address these issues, as they reflect deeply ingrained societal problems that need immediate attention. Another alarming trend is the increase in sexual assault cases. In a disheartening turn of events, the number of sexual assault victims recorded by the police has risen by 3% from the previous year to the current one. That's an increase of 1,072 victims, bringing the total to a staggering 32,146 victims in just 1 year. Furthermore, even accounting for population growth, the victimization rate has seen an uptick. It has risen from 121 to 124 victims per 100,000 persons between 2021 and 2022. This is the highest recorded victimization rate of sexual assault in a 30-year time series. This surge in sexual assault cases is not just a statistic. It represents real people, real lives disrupted, real suffering. The rise in sexual assault cases is a grim reminder of the urgent need for effective measures to combat such crimes. The statistics paint a worrying picture of the crime situation in Australia. We've seen an alarming rise in motor vehicle thefts, with an 11% increase, taking the tally to a staggering 55,037 victims. Sexual assault cases haven't been left behind either, with a 3% rise, amounting to 32,146 victims. In the realm of homicide and related offenses, there has been a slight increase with 377 victims recorded in 2022. Most of these victims were males aged over 18 years. A significant chunk of these homicides, nearly 2/3, occurred at residential locations, while more than half involved the use of a weapon. Alarmingly, more than a third were related to family and domestic violence. It is time to question why these crimes are on the rise and what can be done to reverse this worrying trend.